And here we are. Welcome back to the Richard Sophomore, where we never sit out. We're your hosts, Matthew and Christopher Dawson. What is going on today, guys? This is the last alternating mock draft that we're going to give you guys. And if you're listening on Spotify, I would suggest that you get over to the YouTube page ASAP because Christopher and I are going to have our individual mock drafts coming out. Well, it's, I guess, tomorrow from when you'd be watching this video. Those individual mock drafts are coming out Thursday morning, day of the draft. So be sure those will not be on Spotify. Those will only be on YouTube. So make sure you guys are checking those out. If you like the content, like the video, it's a simple rule we have here. Make sure you're subscribed, yada, yada, yada. We're past 250. That's crazy. Booms these last couple days, the past 2 days have been the most traffic on our page in the history, yada, yada, yada. It's been awesome. Thank you guys so much. We love doing this. It's been fun. But it's late once again for us. We're here at 12:45 a.m. Central Time, just getting after it. And today's different though. Again, this is Mock Draft 5.0, but we have something special. We have two, not one, two rounds of mock drafting to do today. Yes. So you Panthers fans, yes, you Texans fans are going to be getting
Browns
picks.
fans,
Browns
boom,
fans,
boom, boom.
you guys are going to be getting picks from the Richard Sophomore here.
Yeah, we might
How you
as well. I mean,
feeling?
this is draft week. I mean, it is awesome. There's so much going on, rumors, swirls. We're trying to make sense of it. We're piecing together our final big boards where we feel like we've also got some stuff going on. First or second round, best bets. I encourage you to check those out once you get done with this video. But yeah, we hopefully you're enjoying our content here. But also we are a college football podcast. And before we get into this, I want to just plug us like our go to our channel. We've got a ton of stuff going before the draft of college football and once the draft's over and we sent him off the NFL. We're back into college football, into the thick of things. We got so much to talk about, and we hope you're here with us while we just go through this journey.
Yeah, CD says, come for the NFL draft, stick around for the college football content. We have plenty
Amen.
of it here. We have plenty of it. I was checking the numbers. We've posted 705 videos since our inception on YouTube.
It's like
Now, if you're on Spotify, you're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's because we cut up our full episodes. We cut them up into individual segments so folks can just consume their teams if they so choose. And yeah, it's 705 videos. 705 videos we've recorded and edited and whatever. Pretty nuts. Less than a year.
let's get into this one. We got two rounds to get to. Done wasting time here. Let's get into this.
Yeah, and you're the odds, so I'll let you start it off. I think we know
All right,
where we're going with
obviously, I
this.
mean, I don't think this pick has changed in anyone's mock draft in a long, long time. Caleb Williams is the one. I mean, I saw him on a flight with Roma Tunze. Is that kind of crazy? Wouldn't that be wild? Obviously, Ryan Poles is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. So yeah, obviously, not much to say here other than Caleb Williams, number one of the Bears. Sorry, Bears fans. Hey, I'm a Bears fan. Matthew's a Bears fan, but like, not much analysis and surprise given this. It is what it is. Be happy about getting a elite talent at quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And as for number two, follow our best bets. You know where I'm going with this. Plus 275 to go second overall is Drake May. And I'm gonna mock it, and I'm gonna maybe look stupid on Thursday when they pick Jaden Daniels, but I'm gonna do it. I just still believe Drake May is a better quarterback prospect. I, I just don't know. And Cliff Kingsbury, yeah, I'm sure. I know he runs the offenses where he likes attacking the outside of the hashes. Okay, Jaden Daniels is kind of specialty at that, but Drake May can do that too. Like what? Like what? Drake May is also a sneaky athlete. I mean, obviously not as good of an athlete as Jaden Daniels is. I think Jaden Daniels is, it's not bad to be thin. We've had thin quarterbacks in the NFL. I wouldn't call Tom Brady an absolute hunk. Uh, but just I don't know. I worry about Jaden Daniels. I think Drake May is a safer pick, even though Jaden Daniels won the friggin' Heisman this past year. Give me Drake May to the Commanders at number two overall.
I love that. That's what I did, and I think that's going to be eventually where it settles on is Commanders two, Drake May. At three here, I'm going to have a trade. Boom, right away. We have in this one. I think the Patriots zeroed in on Drake May, and I do think that they see the value down the board at wide receiver, at O line, at other places, and they want to get in that middle 45 area where you got they're going to trade down with the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're going to get 13 and 44, right? So their first and second round this year and next year's first, and I'm sure maybe a first after that or whatever else you have to give up. But for our sake here, the only ones that really matter is the Patriots are swapping 3 for 13 and 44. So the Raiders are on the clock, and obviously everyone knows where they're going to go with this one. This will be Jaden Daniels. A lot has been tied between the two, and I think it'd be very, very fun, exciting for the Raiders. Obviously, tough to give up a lot of draft capital when you have a ton of holes, but also, I mean, you see your guy and you think the Patriots are willing to trade out of there, you're gonna really get after it because there's other teams that are quarterback needy as well.
I agree. I agree. I'm gonna stick a pick right here at 4, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
Stick him on the Cardinals. If the Cardinals do trade, obviously it will be on the day of the draft. They're probably going to try to field offers for as long as they can. It won't be until they're on the clock that they actually accept a trade. And they totally could end up accepting a trade. It feels weird though, because I'm getting the sense that this is all accumulating like the last like 12 hours for me that like Michael Penix and Bo Nix are going to end up in the first round. And I still don't really believe that, but I'm not sure if teams are going to be willing to go all the way up to get the number 4 quarterback in this draft class. Like, and really give up a ton for a guy that, hasn't seen a lot of passes. Guys like Alex Smith and Michael Vick. Yeah, sure, they worked out. They didn't throw as many passes in college, but uh, definitely different skill sets. Alex Smith was kind of an insane prospect coming out. Michael Vick was an absolute unicorn. It's, yeah, I don't know. In my individual mock draft, I might have someone trading up here for the Cardinals, but for this one specifically, I'm going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. getting picked at 4 to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it also matters too. Is like if you're the Cardinals, and in this case, when I'm up here at number 5 with the Chargers, you're looking for two teams that want to bid against each other and drive up the price. And if the Raiders just trade up to 3, right? So it's really just the Vikings and and the Broncos that are really kind of interested in moving up for a quarterback. It sounds like then the Broncos don't really have a ton to offer. So it's not like the Vikings they're kind of bidding against themselves where they're not going to give up a package that maybe the Cardinals are satisfied with giving up. So it's hard, it takes two to tango, right? So it's trades are not just
That's a good point. That's a very good
it's
point.
not just like two teams that want to trade. It's kind of a lot has to go into it, obviously, and you have 10 minutes to decide that all. But number 5 here, I'm going to stick with Joe Alt, man. If you watched our best bets videos, if you're going to watch my individual mock tomorrow, you're going to see Joe Alt here. Spoiler, I just love the fit here so much. And I'm doubling down, tripling down with the Chargers. He's just Jim Harbaugh all over him. They're going to run the football. I know you have Justin Herbert. I know that. Awesome. That's exciting. Protect the dude. Protect the dude, right? You've got Quentin Johnson as deep threat. You got not much else to help there, but you can get guys later on in the draft. And I think Joe Alt is just generational, tough to pass up on.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was picking at 5, I would probably not do that. But hey, plus 450, maybe some value right there.
Yeah.
Maybe some value. And he does fit what Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman do there for sure. At 6, I'm gonna go with Malik Nabers to the Giants. They could take JJ McCarthy here. They actually could. I think that would be a shock for a lot of people, but I'm gonna have Malik Nabers going here at 6. He's probably a much better prospect in terms of you're ranking every single prospect on a singular draft board. Malik Nabers is probably going to be ranked higher than JJ McCarthy in a lot of cases. He's very, very, very talented. Feels like the consensus number 2 receiver, even though I love Rome Odunze. I love Rome Odunze, man. Yeah, Malik Nabers 6 to the Giants.
No, that's great value there. And to be honest, I kind of screwed myself here picking for the Titans now at number 7, who obviously Joe Alt's been tied to them very heavily for very good reason because of the fit. And also Joe Alt's, like I said, a very, very good player. So I mean, you're looking to trade down here, and I guess, I mean, does a quarterback come off the board here? Is McCarthy coming up at 7? If so, who's that going to be? I don't know if I can do that. I don't. Maybe the Vikings are getting nervous. Maybe they like Penix. They're just kind of waiting. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna just look around for best player available and at a need, I guess. Let's go. Man, that's tough, man. I'm just gonna take Dallas Turner. I think this is about as high as he could go. And I think you have a need there on the edge. You've got a ton of problems. And Brian Callahan has to figure out what to do. I think get some help defensively. And you're not supposed to win much next year anyway. So just kind of get some guys that are really going to gear you up. Get good football players that have high potential. Dallas Turner kind of fits that mold.
All right. Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. And I think the Falcons at 8 would kind of be like, what the heck? They would absolutely be like, what the heck? What is going on here? Um, and you know what I'm gonna do here at 8? I'm gonna trade down.
Yep,
Let's
yep,
think
that
about
makes a ton of
this.
sense.
They don't get their guy, Dallas Turner, right? They don't need a quarterback because they got Kirk Cousins. The Bears at 9, right? Bears at 9 are definitely in the market for that Rome Odunze, that last coveted receiver. Someone's going to be coming up for this receiver, and we're going to be saying that it's the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts at 15, trading up to 8, and snagging Rome Odunze. Believe it or not,
Wow.
believe it or not.
So what are they giving up?
Um, Good question. Let me see here. Probably 15. Let's see, you're moving up. You're moving up
7
seven
spots.
spots. So maybe a third and like a sixth.
I think you're gonna have to give up a lot more than that.
You think so?
7 spots. I don't.
Seven
I
spots,
but
but
does
it's also it's not for a quarterback. So you think that they had to give up their second round as well?
I think they'll have to give. Well, you're either gonna have to give up 15 and 46, or you're gonna give up 15 and maybe like a fourth and a first round next year, and maybe you get back a sixth or whatever it might be. But I think this is gonna be a pretty hefty
That's what I was saying.
package.
Like they could give up their first and then their third. Is that a third? Is 82 a third round pick or is that a
Yeah,
fourth
that's
round
a
pick?
third round pick. As long as they keep 46, it doesn't really matter for our purpose. But yeah, that
All
makes
right,
that.
well, I'll just give up. I'll give up 15, 82, and 117.
All
That
right.
probably is not gonna happen. Dude, none of these trades, how do you even know how these trades are gonna be valued? You never
Yeah,
know. You really never know. So what's important for our purposes is that Indianapolis Colts are gonna keep their second round pick, but they are gonna trade
exactly.
up. Um,
For Roma Dunze.
yeah, they're gonna take Rome Odunze there at 8.
That's awesome. Him and Ant Richardson. At number 9, I mean the Bears again. You're two guys that you wanted on your board. Dallas Turner, Roma Dunze. You could turn to Byron Murphy, which makes a ton of sense. But I do think you've, and it's not like it is like polls to throw a ton of capital at positions of value, which offensive tackle, you've seen him do that. In Obviously cornerback, you've seen him do that, and also interior defensive line would be another fit there. How important that is in Eberflus's scheme. I do think this is where McCarthy comes off the board because a trade up happens. Um,
Mmm.
and I hate to do interdivision stuff, and so we're getting kind of wild here in our last mock draft, but
Whoa.
I do think the Bears it's either gonna like they're either gonna let JJ McCarthy just fall to them at 11, or they're gonna get some value out of it. And I think they can
Oh,
still get the guy that they want at 9 and get him at 11 while getting some value from the Vikings and forcing their rival to pay a premium to pay up for a quarterback and also in division. Is that fair?
that's fair. I mean, the interdivision trades are pretty rare, but also if you're Ryan Poles and you evaluated JJ McCarthy, which I'm assuming that they did, and if you're Ryan Poles and you're sitting there and you're like, they want to trade up and get this guy.
Also, exactly where you're
You
like
know, like
you're like we've
that
done
could
our
be like
homework.
a weird situation where you have two differentiating opinions and you'll see which one pans out,
Yeah, I do think the Vikings will probably they won't have to give up 11 and 23, so it doesn't really matter what they'll give up. My assumption will be probably 108. And I do think Poles wants to get more value in his draft and maybe 108 and maybe like 230, right? In a seventh round pick just to throw a dart at it. So, uh, yeah, Vikings get 9, come up and take JJ McCarthy, who I think they were kind of just waiting and waiting to pounce on when they couldn't wait any longer. And obviously,
So the
because
Bears
once you get
making are the Bears making the Vikings pay another first round pick, like their other first round pick for this year? Probably
no,
not. It's
no,
only
no,
two
no,
spots. So
no,
what
it'd
do you
just
have the
be
value at?
I'd put like it was it was 11 and like their third and like a seventh,
Okay,
whatever it may be. And
sure.
just because his polls does want to trade down and get some more draft because they only have like
Fine.
4 picks in the draft.
Yeah. That
And
dude, that would be wild. That'd be wild.
yeah, it's 2 round
Here
mock
to
draft though. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, we're having fun here. Smock Draft 5.0, we're having fun here. So with the Vikings, you take JJ McCarthy, which leaves me on the clock with the Jets at 10. There's a lot of stuff here. I know what you want me to do here. I'm not going to go in that direction. I am going to take Brock Bowers here at 10.
See, and not to step on your foot, your toes here, but that's exactly why the Bears trade down to 11 because they feel like Jets are zeroing in on Brock Bowers and they can still get their guy at 11. But also, Brock Bowers, very, very good player, fits the Jets perfectly. And I'll let you give your reasoning on that for a second.
Well, just Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, if you're bought in on Aaron Rodgers, you have to give him everything you possibly can. They signed Mike Williams. They have Garrett Wilson, right? They have a pretty decent O line. They paid Morgan Moses. They could go offensive line here, but the reality is just give Aaron Rodgers everything he could possibly need. And if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, oh well, you can say you put all your chips in.
Yeah.
Don't
No,
go paying for Aaron Rodgers when you're not going to put all your chips in.
that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I love that. Bears at 11. Obviously, they targeted Byron Murphy with this trade down. The guy you would have gotten at 9. You get down, you get some more draft capital later on in day 3. And now you get Byron Murphy with the 11th pick, which is awesome value because, I mean, our best bets video, right? We had Byron Murphy top 10. Like, we think that's real good value to take him there at 8, 9, 10. And you're getting him at 11, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I love that. Which is going to lead me to be taking the edge rusher from UCLA,
Yep.
Latu for the Broncos. Yeah, I know everyone and their mom wants me to take Bo Nix here for the Broncos, but I don't know, man. I don't know. If they were to take Bo Nix, it would be right here. Like if they're gonna take a quarterback, they're not gonna mess around. They're not gonna try to take a pick and then maybe try to trade up again. If they like Bo Nix, they would take him here for sure. I just don't know if they actually do. Like you have quarterbacks Malik Willis is a good example. Will Levis is a good example. You just don't know with the quarterback position what kind of smoke is being thrown around. And I'm going to trust the evaluations that we have on the show, and I'm going to go with Leatu Latu at 12.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a ton of sense there. Obviously, the Broncos, you cannot afford to miss on this pick, right? And guys that you think you'd about taking would be Brock Bowers, Rome Odunze if he fell, obviously trading up for a quarterback. But the way the board fell, yeah, Latu makes a ton of sense. At 13 is the Patriots. Now, remember, they traded down with the Raiders. They're getting some draft capital later in the draft class, getting a first rounder next year to really gear up for this it's a rebuild, right? Jared Mayer knows this, and I'm sure he has like a good leash there with Robert Kraft and understanding the position he's in. And I mean, you think about quarterback here, but I think if you're trading down at 3, you're kind of like, okay, we don't have to take a quarterback. Jacoby Brissett can get you through a year. Bailey Zapp can get you through a year, right? On offense, you need every single position that you could find. The 3 stud wide receivers are gone. And I think you go Troy Fontenot here. I feel like he fits what they like in alignment, versatility, athleticism, just great technique and whatnot. So he can come in right away and he can just fit anywhere on your line. I like him at left tackle, and or maybe right tackle you could slide Onwenu back inside. However you want to approach that is up to the Patriots, but I think he's just such a chess piece, and anyone that ends up with him, I feel like their team and their GM, offensive line coach, are going to be pretty darn happy with what they can do.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. He has that flexibility. People look at him like, oh, is he more of a guard? I don't know that he's more of a guard. I kind of think he fits really well in that tackle spot, and he moves
Mhm.
very, very, very well. So I like that pick a lot. I like that pick a lot. Now I'm sitting here with the Saints at 14. Um, it's gonna be an interesting one. I think I thought about taking Quinn Mitchell here, but I think I'm gonna go with our guy, Marius Mims,
Wow.
right here.
Yeah.
At tackle. Look,
Yep.
Saints need him. Ryan Ramczyk. Is he fine? We don't know. Trevor Penning, not good. Marius Mims, yeah, you're drafting him to probably play right tackle. Okay. To be truthful about that. But
I don't know if Ryan
might
Ramchek's going to play next year. I
that
really don't.
that's what I'm saying. Like you need some kind of insurance because you cannot have Trevor Penning at left tackle and whomst ever at right tackle that you don't even know yet.
No
You just
chance.
can't have yeah. Give your guys a chance on offense with the Marius Mims.
Yeah, and that makes a ton of sense. Now their division rival, the Falcons, at 15 after trading down all the way from 8. Matthew traded up for Roma Dunze because their guy Dallas Turner was off the board, and Latu, another edge, is off the board. So now you're kind of scrambling here. I think you're gonna go Quinion Mitchell here. I think the value is pretty good. You would have thought about him at 8, but you can trade down here and get him at 15 while recouping some extra assets. Makes a ton of sense. And I know you have Ada Terrell, who I like a lot. I love a lot, right? It's Clark Phillips, another guy I like a lot too. But I also think Clark Phillips can be versatile. I wonder if you start moving him into the slot and doing different things in nickel and dime packages to really, maximize his versatility. And obviously, Raheem Morris coming over from the Rams, like he's done that stuff with some talented players as well. So Quinn Mitchell here at 15 to the Falcons.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Ooh, I want to trade back so bad. But I'm gonna stick a pick here. I'm gonna go Jared Verse. Um, with the Seahawks at 16. I think he just kind of fits their system. They like those bigger edge guys. I know they got Boye Mafe. They got some edge guys that they like, but kind of feels like probably one of the better players on the board, And yeah, sure you have other needs. It's just like there's still tackles on the board. There's still a few wide receivers on the board that you would consider taking in that spot. I just think there might not be a market to trade up unless for some reason a team wanted to trade up for a quarterback at this point, but it feels like all the teams that wanted quarterbacks already got their quarterbacks. So they're kind of stuck here sticking and picking with Jared Verse, which is not a bad thing to be stuck with.
No, just getting a very, very well player. The Jaguars and Trent Baalke. I want so badly to take 80 Mitchell. So badly. I don't know if I can do it with Thalys Fuanga on the board, a guy that can give you flexibility, can play right tackle with Anton Harrison. I know you drafted him just a year ago, but I also think the flexibility to start in as a guard, he could be
You
a
put
really,
Bouanga,
really good guard.
dude, he could be such a good guard.
And you can really get Travis Etienne and that running game going. I like Tank Bigsby as well. And just Trevor Lawrence, just, again, continue protection. 80 Mitchell would be awesome to have a big bodied receiver for him. I think T. Higgins back at Clemson, right? What he did there. Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are a little bit more on the smaller end. So it'd be a really nice compliment. But I'm gonna do Fuanga here. Um, a guy that's just a mauler in every facet of the game, blocking wise.
Yeah. I mean, Gabe Davis isn't small. He's like 6'2". I mean,
I guess
but
so.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but uh, more of a
Maybe not contested. I like just
big,
go up jump
big,
ball. Back shoulder, third and 8. It's like, well,
yeah.
everyone's
So
covered.
you're going Fuanga though?
Yeah, Phone got 17 to the Jags.
All right. I like that. Which leaves me with the Bengals at 18. You could go a couple different routes here. You can go a couple different routes here. I don't know. I'll put Jason Newton here. Move Jason Newton to the Bengals at
Yeah.
18. Interior pass rush. I still think Jason Newton goes in the top 20. I really do. Just because I think like it'll very much depend where Byron Murphy goes, because I do think Byron Murphy is the first D tackle off the board. So once Byron Murphy's off the board, teams might kind of be clamoring to get that interior pass rush. Like, uh, we've seen how it's worked out in the past before. Getting guys that could just rush the passer on the interior is just so good. It's so effective, man. Really messes up quarterbacks, even elite ones. So yeah, Jason Newton, 18 to the Bengals.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great pick. If he wasn't going to 18, he'd be going 19 to the Rams, 1,000%.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and also with all those edges gone, like all the D linemen that you'd want to take for the Rams are gone off the board. Kind of brew the way the board fell. You do have some tackles that I do kind of like here for the Rams, and I'm gonna go Graham Barton. Right, I continue to rise him in my rankings ahead of Olu Fashanu, ahead of JC Latham, and guys like that. I think he's just so good. He can play all five positions, and the value and what he can do in that McFly or McVay type scheme could be really awesome. And obviously you got to protect Matthew Stafford. And you have Puka Nakua, you have Cooper Cup, you think about AD Mitchell or BTJ, but I don't think those are more like just a nice accessories. But Graham Barton fills a really good spot for you.
Yeah. And I'm here with picking up the Steelers at 20. And you're like, oh, well, get rid of Deontay Johnson. Like, I've heard that they love Brian Thomas Jr. and AD Mitchell, those guys. Oh, Fashanu is here. Let's continue this run on tackles right here. Oh, Fashanu. It's going to play left tackle. Dan Moore. Steelers fans, you can sigh your relief that Dan Moore is no longer starting for you at left tackle after this.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I'm sure they're pretty excited about that. That makes a ton of sense. Like a guy that again can play left tackle, play right tackle. Even I guess I don't love him at guard just because I don't think he has quite the run blocking that you'd like. But yeah, no, I think that's awesome. The Dolphins at 21. Again, obviously, if somehow Brock Bowers fell to you there, that would be awesome. You're thinking edge maybe or defensive lineman. None of the guys there really entice you. Obviously, with the five guys gone, cornerback is a maybe. Although you do have Jalen Ramsey and Kendall Fuller you're bringing over. Ooh, there's a
You
this is a
lose
very
Robert.
interesting
You
roster.
lose Robert Hunt at
I
guard.
know JC Latham would make a ton of sense, but I do think like Tua's not a big dude. I don't know if I like him with a 6'8" guard. I not that it really matters.
What about a
And
smaller center that could also play guard?
I guess so. You could throw Jackson Powers Johnson over there. Um, this would be like Graham Barton would be perfect here. Would be so perfect. But I do think the Dolphins uh can trade back, and I think that's what they're gonna do. And they're gonna target a different offensive lineman later on in the end of the first round, and I'm gonna trade up with the Buffalo Bills
I
at
love
28. And so you know exactly what they're coming up and
inter
getting
interdivision trade, the second one of the day.
again. But it is what it is. Both these teams understand the value that is. Um, I don't know exactly how I want to format this. I guess we'll have the Buffaloes keep their 60th pick, but they might have to give up, maybe next year's second and maybe like the second they got from Minnesota and maybe, a fifth round pick later on, just the Dolphins to get more capital.
Sure.
So it'll be a 28 for our purposes, just really going to be 28 and 21 just swapped. But the Dolphins know they'll be getting future draft capitals as well. Is that fair?
That's fair. And who are you going to be taking here?
Well, you get the option here. I mean, it's pick your choice here. BTJ somehow on the board, and so is AD Mitchell. I think with the speed that or the arm strength that Josh Allen has, I think you cannot pass up on a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. and what he can do as a vertical threat for you. You got a guy like Matt Collins and others that I think can really do some damage, especially Dalton Kincaid over the middle of the field, Curtis Samuel, guys like that. But I do think the Brian Thomas Jr. with Josh Allen would be special.
I do too, man. That would be such a good fit. Oh my gosh. That'd be nuts. Uh, at 22, then the Eagles are like, so how did Terry and Arnold just fall to us?
Fucking
And
hey,
they're
man.
they're just gonna gladly take Terry Arnold and be like, what the heck are these bozos for the redshirt sophomore doing? Just letting Terry Arnold slip to 22. I mean, that's
Again, Howie Roseman is it's going to be one of those drafts where, like, at 22, mark my words here, there's going to be a player like Nolan Smith, like guys like that before, where they just fall to him, and it's like, how did the league let this happen? Like it happens way too often.
it does. And yeah, we have it mocked here. Terry Arnold to the Eagles.
I love that. I love that. The Vikings back up at 23, and is it crazy to take A.D. Mitchell? I think it is. I think it is, but wouldn't that be fun with J.J. McCarthy coming in and just to get a trio? I mean, the Bears, people telling them to take Rome Odunze. And so what is it crazy to I mean, you're gonna have to pay Justin Jefferson, and I know, living in Minnesota, everyone wants him to, and they should, 1,000%. But behind those two, there is not a lot of depth at all. And I don't think you really need, I mean, Jason, the other thing you could think about, right? You could think about Jackson Powers Johnson. You do need interior guard help, but I think the value here is too good. A.D. Mitchell does not go past 23. If not, someone's calling up to trade for him.
Now, yeah,
I think.
let me ask you, would someone, do you think, trade up for this pick at 23?
I mean, I could see the Chiefs doing it for sure. I could see, um, I mean, maybe even someone at the back end of the second round, like maybe the Chargers, who are like, well, we didn't take a wide receiver in the early first round. We still need one. Maybe the Titans wanting to help Will Levis even more. Obviously, yeah, it can be interesting, but I do think for simplicity, perfect purposes, and I do think like they're going to be invested in JJ McCarthy. They traded up for him. They traded up for this pick. I do think both of these picks are going to help JJ McCarthy in some way with the way the board falls. AD Mitchell here at 23. Yeah, sign me up for that if I am the Vikings.
All right. I think it's the first time we've had A.D. Mitchell mocked the Vikings here on the show. So, pretty interesting board that we've seen so far. Cowboys at 24, minus 230 to take an offensive lineman in the first round. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And it's not who you think. All right. It's not who you think. You're probably staring at me right now. You're like, oh, is it J.C. Latham? He's going to get the tackle? And I'm going to tell you no. And then you're probably like, oh, is it Jackson Powers Johnson? Is it? No. I'm going to get a guy who actually moves better than Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm going to get Zach Frazier here at 24. Cowboys known for reaching on offensive linemen
Wow.
and having him pay off. Zach Frazier is very good. He can play center for you. You can play guard. He moves very, very well. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. He's a very, very good football player. And I would not be the most utterly shocked if he went over Jackson Powers Johnson in this draft.
That's not crazy, but I think you might have just gifted the Green Bay Packers Jackson Powers Johnson. I listen.
Exactly.
I think that's
Exactly.
very interesting. This is not. I don't think this is crazy at all. I think Frazier fits what the Cowboys want to do, and I also think at the same time, like Green Bay Packers can be pretty happy with walking away with Jackson Powers Johnson as a second center taking this draft fact. They want to run the football. You sign Josh Jacobs, right? You don't maybe have the depth at wide receiver position because of the injuries that Christian Watson is going to hold up. You got still young quarterback, still young receivers. Josh Myers is entering. You got to pay him soon, and I don't think they really want to. He has versatility, but he's also just a mauler in the run game and can really open up holes for Josh Jacobs.
I agree a lot. I agree a lot. I'd be a little upset, Jackson Powers Johnson, because it feels like the Packers always get very solid offensive linemen. And when you have someone as powerful as Jackson Powers Johnson, there's not going to be a physicality makeup that he's got to do in the NFL, right? Like he's going to bring the power, he's going to bring the physicality to the professional football level. Now we're looking at the Buccaneers at 26. This is an interesting one. You're going to hate me for this. I'm going to take Chop Robinson here at 26.
Wow.
At
That's pretty
edge.
on brand. That's on brand.
It's on brand. Let's get the athletic edge. They invested in was it Logan Hall, was it last year? I don't know if he's exactly the guy. They're missing out on Shaq Barrett now. Like I think they need to replace that edge spot. They did get Yaya Diaby, which is, I mean, absolutely nutty pick from them, by the way. Insane value. But I think Chop Robinson is the guy that they're going to see value here at 26.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Again, if you watched a couple of our draft videos, you know I'm not super high on Chop Robinson, but I do think like when I talked about him, like I think it's there. He has to go the right fit, and Tampa Bay is known for taking guys like this and developing them to being really good players. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense there. Uh, I'm sure Buccaneers, the GM would be pretty darn happy with that, sticking and picking it and getting a talent like that. At 27 here with the Cardinals, um, just with the way the board falls, I think they're actually going to trade down again. It's going to be very, very quick. I know I've done a couple trade downs here, but I think that the Lions are eyeing their guy that they really, really, really want. And I think he's kind of a tier above the rest of the offensive linemen that are on the board. They're going to go up. The Lions are going to go up and get J.C. Latham, and they're probably going to give up like a
Play him
fourth
at
round pick
guard? Are they going to play him at guard?
and play him at guard. And if
Wow.
and I yeah, I think that would be pretty darn interesting with what he can do there for you.
So what are
Let's
they
get
giving
this.
up here? Probably not like probably fifth and the sixth, maybe. Not even.
Yeah, maybe just like 29 and maybe like 164 and 205 to get 27. And maybe yeah.
If
Uh,
that, if that.
Yeah, and maybe they'll have to give up or they'll get like a sixth rounder next year in return or whatever it may be. Regardless, that's semantics. In this case here, Detroit, Arizona can trade on, get a little bit more draft capital, still get the guy they want, and the Lions can make sure they get the guy that they want. And that's J.C. Latham,
Yeah,
who fell all the way at 27, by the way. And he's a
and
guy
and
that like,
and by the way, that was a great trade because the Dolphins are now absolutely pissed
yeah,
because they traded down thinking that they were going to get their guys on the offensive line. Jackson Powers Johnson goes,
Zach
Jack
Frazier.
Frazier goes, J.C. Latham goes. So now when you're the Dolphins, now you're kind of put in a predicament because like the interior guys that you think of as first round guys are kind of gone right now. So
Hmm.
like it'd be tough to kind of reach for uh tough to kind of reach for someone on the defensive interior. So now it's like, do you just go best player available? And it's interesting because they've already invested a ton in their secondary. So it's like
Yeah, you look at three corners, which is why the Cardinals felt comfortable trading down a couple spots.
exactly, exactly.
I mean,
Wow, man.
ideally here, if you have time and if you're the Dolphins, you can panic or you could trade like maybe would it be the Broncos or the Patriots or whoever it may be coming up and talking to you about maybe getting a quarterback, Bo Nix or Michael Penix, but it's pretty tough to do.
Or Tua hasn't gotten extended, has he?
I think he signed a huge deal. I'm pretty
Oh, he
sure.
did sign a huge deal previously. Oh, well, I was
Oh
about to
wait,
get
no,
all,
I
I was about
never
to get
mind.
super cute there.
No, he has not gotten an extension. I don't know what I saw.
Wow. Well, if that's the case, then actually,
Yeah, no
uh,
extension.
no extension so far. Is it crazy to pick Bo Nix here at
I
28?
don't. I don't at all. I mean,
This is our last mock draft alternating picks, and this might be our craziest one yet. But I'm gonna go Bo Nix here because you haven't extended Tua, and you got a guy that can orchestrate offense. He's got plenty of talent around him. He's been durable throughout his career, which Tua cannot say the same. Just kind of reset the clock. You have all that talent around you, reset the clock, kind of reset the salary cap there. It'll be interesting. Tua will get paid somewhere probably if he doesn't for some reason sign with the Cardinals, sorry, doesn't for some reason re-sign with the Dolphins. Uh, if they draft Bo Nix here, it is very clear what the Dolphins' intentions are down the road. Yeah, be very interesting. That would be a wild storyline that I don't actually anticipate happening. Uh,
I don't think it's crazy. I remember the first draft pick, the mock draft we did. I had him taking Michael Penix. I think Bo Nix, and first of all, it's not even like with the way the board fell fall. Like I think this makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's crazy at all. And you've kind of talked me into it because the cap situation is going to get crazy. You got to reset the clock there. Tua, if you pay him all this money, you cannot pay everybody else, and you're going to struggle. And also, Tua's probably going to get hurt, right? His concussion's a real problem. And to have a really good backup with future upside in it, it's not bad at all. He's going to help you in 2024. He's going to be called upon to do some things in 2024. And yeah, that's all. That's kind of awesome. Now, is it the flashy move? No. Is it going to get your fan base excited? Maybe not. Is it going to upset the locker room? Maybe. But I do think it makes a ton of sense.
Here's my thought though. Like, here's why this is super unlikely. Like, if you're in the first round and you're planning on taking a quarterback, like the Dolphins, if the way that the board fell, like we can assume that they didn't plan on taking Bo Nix. I feel like you don't take Bo Nix unless you plan on taking Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? Like if you would have taken if you're taking him at 28, like you would have taken him at 21 is kind of what I'm thinking. But look, I'll wear it. That would be really cool if he went to the Dolphins. I'm trying to check the odds and like what that actually is right now, but uh it would be it would be quite nuts if that actually happened.
Yeah. No. But also, I mean, it'd be interesting. Obviously, it's not 29 with the Cardinals. They traded down 2 spots, looking to get a cornerback. Any of the three that are left on the board that I think fit them pretty well. Remember, they got Marvin Harrison at 4. And um, I'm just gonna go with Khalid McKinstry here, just because I think he's just super sound. I hate to take him over Cooper DeJean because I love DeJean. Nate Wiggins scares you a little bit with his medicals and whatnot, but Khalid McKinstry, you know exactly what you're getting. I feel like he fits Jonathan Gannon super well, um, and it'd just be a very nice piece for you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you love to see that. You love to see that. With the Ravens, it's kind of interesting here. I don't really know what to do here. I guess Jordan Morgan is kind of the easy one to go with here. The guy that they've been tied to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jordan Morgan here. I'm gonna go with Jordan Morgan. Feed me. Jordan Morgan to Ravens at third. I think we mocked that a couple times.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense there, not only in the short term but also long term with Ronnie Stanley, and the health conditions that he has as well. And just Jordan Morrison's just a really good player in general. San Francisco here, I'm looking at cornerback. Um, I do think that's a need. You think about obviously Tyler Guyton. That does worry me. I've done it a couple times before, but I think with the way the board fell, and you have DeJean and Wiggins here, you get to pick your cream of the crop of the which one you like. And you kind of have some versatile pieces already in the secondary, which would be nice to have DeJean, but I'm just going to go with the upside that Nate Wiggins brings you to be a lockdown cornerback. And you also need length to go up against. Look at the guys in your division right now. Marvin Harrison's a big dude. You're with the Rams. Puka Nacua is a big dude. The Seahawks have some big dudes. DK Metcalf. Nate Wiggins, to me, fits that division super well
I like that a lot.
with
I
his
like that a
length.
lot.
With his length.
Yes.
He's obviously not a big dude, but he's very long and can grow into his body.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I'm gonna go. The Chiefs are on the board, and we're just gonna take Xavier Worthy, and we're gonna relive the speed that they had there back in the days of Tyreek Hill. Obviously, very different players. I mean, Tyreek Hill's built like a kind of like a bumper car, and Xavier Worthy's built like a bicycle. But I think the Chiefs would be very happy. They kind of have their cream there. They get to pick from a decent set of wide receivers here. You could pick Lad McConkey, who unfortunately we have slipping. Uh, Yeah, and then you could also take Keon Coleman. You could take Ricky Pearsall. I don't think Jalen Polk would go this early, but Xavier Legette could sure be on the board here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that honestly steals the pick that would have been for the Panthers there to give Bryce Young a deep vertical threat. As much as I just love Lad McConkey, I just worry there's a little bit of redundancy in what Deontay Johnson can do. Because to be honest, I think that's a really nice uh, comp for Lad McConkey is Deontay Johnson. And are they going to kind of take too much of a role? You need a vertical threat in this offense. Troy Franklin, I don't quite think it's good value right now at 33, even though he's a nice deep threat. A little too small for me, or a little too slow for me. Ricky Pearsall, another guy, just a really good receiver, but I think a little bit of redundancy there again. So I'm gonna go Keon Coleman, and you're kind of gonna say, well, there's redundancy in Jonathan Mingo, but no, I think they've kind of seen, okay, Mingo's not the guy, right? They got to move quickly off of him. Keon Coleman gives um, Bryce Young just a nice physical presence down the field, across the middle of the field, and places where he can really thrive and open up the offense for Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen underneath.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Wow. The Patriots here at 34, man. Kind of a tough pick here, if you ask me. Uh,
I mean, remember they took Troy Fontenot in the first round.
yep, yep.
Dude,
So
I mean,
no need to take a tackle there. Could you take a wide receiver? Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lad McConkey here
yeah, yeah,
at 34
that's
to the
money.
Patriots. And I don't think that's crazy. Now this is no Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, whatever, Josh McDaniels, their classic short white slot receiver. At least Lad McConkey's not that short. I mean, 6 feet tall, uh, but he can also play outside. That's what kind of makes him a little bit different from guys like Julian Edelman and Wes Welker. Lad McConkey can actually play on the outside, and he's kind of a dog. So yeah, feed me a Lad McConkey, 34 to the Patriots.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense there. And with the Cardinals, I don't know what to really do here because you've taken wide receiver, you've taken cornerback, and I'm thinking about double dipping in each of those just because the way the board fell with DeJean on the board and with a guy like Ricky Pearsall, that would be a pretty nice compliment to what you have there. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go DeJean because I think you can play him at safety once you gotta move up Buda Baker or Jalen Thompson, but you also have your slot presence as well. You can do DeJean just gonna give you a chess piece for Jonathan Gannon, um, which is crazy. You can walk away with Chloe McKinstry and Cooper DeJean, as well as Marvin Harrison. Now, obviously, you're still pretty not really bulking up in the trenches, but you've done that enough in the past couple drafts.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be kind of a nuts cornerback room there though. Like, how young does that get? And good. Yeah. I mean, also too, like, and people are probably like, oh, Cooper Jean's going before Kool-Aid McKinstry. And it's like, maybe. I mean, dude, did you think that Jameer Gibbs was gonna go before uh uh Brian Branch last year? No, you would have had those two picks flipped for sure. But they ended
Mm.
up on the same team. So yeah, I like that a lot, man. I like that a lot. All right. Staring at Commanders here. There's a lot of stuff that they need here. They just drafted their quarterback in Drake May. You got some pretty decent receivers that you've invested in. Feels like you might want to invest in the offensive line. Tyler Guyton's still there, man. Tyler Guyton is still there.
That's
That's
pretty
what
nice.
That's what it'll be. I think the Commanders are going to be grateful that Tyler Guyton's still on the board. Don't know if that he's going to be ready to start day one for the Commanders there, but look, they do need help on the offensive line. He's got the tools. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at their offensive line right now. Certainly need a little bit of help there. They did sign some guys. Um, Tyler Biada's, they got ready, but like not enough. I mean, you still got Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley, Cornelius Lucas. Like, it's not the best offensive line that we've ever seen. It's not
Yeah.
the best. So if Tyler Guyton's there, he's kind of like probably the last, I'd say, offensive lineman in that tier, maybe. Well, no, actually, there's another tackle that's around here that I would consider taking that. Actually, probably, nah, I'll leave Tyler Guyton there, but I probably would maybe flip these guys. But I like it. I'll stick with Tyler Guyton.
Guyton at 36.
Yep.
All right, and that's I'm back up for the Chargers, who are probably already Chargers fans. If you're still watching, you're probably pissed at me for taking Joe Allen or whatever else, but I think that's a great fit. I think you should be really happy with that. Regardless, nonetheless, they're back up at 36, and here's where you can get your wide receiver. I've been hinting at it the past couple picks, Ricky Pearsall here, and I think what he does would be an awesome fit with Justin Herbert. Yeah, and obviously maybe not as flashy as Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze, all that stuff, but he is a really good football player. And I think he could take some pressure off Quentin Johnson, and maybe you can unlock something there with your former first round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then the Titans, they need offensive line help. It's going to come in the form of an absolute mammoth. Give me, well, I mean, there's some bigger mammoths in this draft, but yeah, give me a Kingsley Sumatea to the
I
Titans.
love that.
You didn't get Joe Alt like you wanted to. You traded down, and we had them taking a Dallas Turner. Oh no, we had them sticking picking at 7, taking Dallas Turner. You get your
Mhm.
offensive tackle here, Kingsley Sumatea. Sure, very raw guy, but large physical guy. His run blocking grade, maybe not as good as his pass blocking grade, but there's no more Derrick Henry in there. So if anything, you kind of want to bring in a guy there, help Will Levis, let him develop, protect him. I think Kingsley Sumatea can help in pass pro certainly a lot.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Um, that would have been
Whether
a nice
whether it's
pick.
left or right tackle, either one.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make a little bit of a surprise pick, I guess, here for the Panthers. This is the pick they traded, I believe, Brian Burns away, getting that second rounder from the Giants. And I'm gonna reach down the board a little bit here and grab Blake Fisher, offensive tackle from Notre Dame. And I think what he
Wow.
does and gives you some insurance on Ikem Ekwonu, and also Taylor Morton's getting old too, right? So you're eventually gonna have to move off of him. I don't know if Brady Christensen is the future there. You've done a lot to revamp that O line. I think with the way the board fell, I don't need another wide receiver. I don't really feel good taking a linebacker, especially with the additions you made in that room already, as well as safety with Tyler Nubin. Um, so yeah, I think with the way the board fell, all the edges are gone that you'd really think about to replace a guy like Brian Burns. You're gonna go out and take Blake Fisher at right tackle, who's a little bit more pro ready than maybe Amagaje from Yale or someone along those lines.
Yeah. Wow. I actually don't hate that pick. I think he gets slept on a lot
Yeah,
because he played opposite of an absolute menace.
he had great
Absolute,
tape too.
yeah, he had really good tape as well. Yeah, man. Now we got the Commanders again at 40, thanks to Chicago Bears.
It was a Montez Sweat deal,
Oh,
right?
the Montez Sweat deal, yeah. So I mean, we got a tackle in Tyler Guyton. We got your quarterback and Drake May. What else are you looking for? Probably DB. Is this where Tyler Nubin goes? This could be where Tyler Newman goes.
That'd be nice. I mean, you gotta, yeah, that'd be nice.
They did sign Jeremy Chin, Derek Forrest. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, this is an odd spot right here. DBH. Uh,
I mean, you took Guyton and you
nah.
took Drake May already.
Yep. So it's hard to say. You know what I'm gonna do? No, see, like you already they invested in corner already. I mean, dude, this is such a tough friggin' pick. Do you just go wide receiver again, or do you just go right back to the well at offensive line? You know, I don't know who's here though in the interior that like you'd really be comfortable
Dude,
taking. Christian Haynes,
no, I don't want to tell
that's
you. I don't want to tell you mine because I want to take him soon. So that's
really. Uh, gosh, and I'm trying to find fit here too. Like, all right,
I
screw it.
mean,
I'm just gonna go. We're just gonna go an edge player right here. Yeah, I'm gonna take Darius Robinson from Missouri.
yeah, really nice Senior Bowl, or at least turned a lot of heads at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the improvement. Now the entire team of Missouri improved as a whole, but he was fantastic this year. He was
Yeah,
just fantastic. Um,
and
because like, dude, before they had him like lining up a lot, like in the B gap in 2021, 2022, they're like, all right, let's move this guy outside the tackle. And then all of a sudden, he's just a monster. So
yeah,
I think you got a really nice edge player who doesn't even have a ton of snaps except for this past year at edge. Let him develop, get after it. I like him a lot. He's a good ball player.
I love that. And
6'5",
also,
296, bro. Like you could
yeah,
put him at the
dude,
five tech. Like, dude, he's kind of a beast, not gonna lie.
D Dan Quinn is gonna love him. Big bodied edge. I also at 41 here, Green Bay. This is where the first linebacker goes off the board, and it's gonna be Edgerrin Cooper. And I'm looking on at the Packers team right now, and yes, Quay Walker they put a lot of time into, but I mean you just had to release Devondre Campbell. I'm looking around at your roster, and the roster, I hate to say it, is really, really good. Um, I would have thought about interior D line here because I like a player here, but I don't think you need to with Devontae Wyatt coming along, and obviously Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary being monsters. Um, and you've drafted well with Lucas Van Ness coming out along in the folds as well. Secondary is pretty darn good. I think the pick here is Etron Cooper, and you can kind of just to me, I think he's going to be what you thought Quay Walker is, and Quay Walker can be more of a specialist where he comes in and does just blitzing and crazy athletic freaky things that he can do, right? Not say Edge Cooper's not a good athlete, but I think he's a little bit more complete linebacker and will help your defense overall, as opposed to Quay Walker maybe.
Yeah, I like that. So now here we've got look, we saw all the darts that the Texans took on the defensive interior in the offseason in terms of signing a bunch of folk to see what happens there. I think to take another shot here, and I'm gonna go with Chris Jenkins here from Michigan. Nope, just kidding. I'm gonna go with Rook Orororo. Oror
Nice.
Orororo.
Oh, nailed
Oro
it.
Ororo Ororo Ororo. Rook Oroho. Orohoro. I think that's it. Sorry, Rook Orohoro. Uh, I'm sorry if you're doing your mock draft on your end and you already took Chris Jenkins and now you're bringing out.
No,
But
it's all good.
I'm gonna take Rook Aurora, Aurora, Aurora.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for bearing with us, viewers. We appreciate you. Subscribe for that if you want more. Um, yeah, I think they're just gonna take him on the defensive interior. He's kind of a crazy athlete compared to most of the defensive interior. He's not a huge defensive interior guy. Like he's not like an absolute monster like Tavondre Sweat, which I could have definitely seen going here before the DUI. I definitely would have maybe taken a shot at Tavondre Sweat in the second round here.
Yeah.
That's how massive he is. But uh, this defensive interior lineman from Clemson just tested kind of freakishly. You can kind of feel like, oh, maybe this guy's got a real shot to kind of explode. He's going to be playing surrounded by a ton of veterans. Just let him grow, man. Let him grow.
Yeah.
Let her grow. Grow.
He came in as a I see what you did there. He came in as an edge, I believe, and then they bulked him up. Obviously, the athleticism fits. So Rukaror Horo goes at 42. At
Nailed it.
43, I'm gonna continue the another defensive interior guy coming off, and it's gonna be Michael Hall from Ohio
Oh,
State, a guy that
I love that pick. I
I
love
mean,
that pick.
on a defense at Ohio State that had a ton of talent a year ago. To me, he caught my eye every damn game I watched of him. I mean, he's just a special pass rusher, I believe. And again, you're seeing these guys in the interior get paid this year. And I think what he can do, the upside that he has to play alongside guys like Grady Jarrett, Zach Harrison, um, David on Onyemata. I forgot how to say that, but I think what he could do, learn from those veterans and really become a monster on the interior.
Dude, he is so good. And he's put on like 25 pounds since
Yeah,
the season started. Or the Senior Bowl, was it? Or no, what was it? Oh, at the combine he didn't weigh in, right? And then like
it
or
was a
no,
senior boy.
he
He
Senior
didn't.
Bowl. Wait, no, he weighed
His
in, he
pro
didn't
day.
test.
Yeah,
There's something was going on there where like he was it that he didn't test at the combine, but he weighed in and they're like, oh, he'll just cut it at his pro day or whatever. And then he goes to his pro day and he's another 5 pounds heavier and still tested insane.
yeah. Credit to him. That you got to
That's
be happy
work.
there.
That is work ethic right there. And also just the fact that you can put on all that weight and still be as athletic as that, it is
Nice.
an absolutely incredible feat. I'm picking here with the Patriots at 44. We've already taken a tackle. We've taken a wide receiver. Do you keep investing in the offense? I don't know that you necessarily do. I think this is a spot where you could definitely see Peyton Wilson coming off the board at 44. Believe they are in need of a linebacker. I mean, is Juwan Bentley the guy moving forward? I mean, I don't know.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we already invested 2 picks in offense. Who's your favorite player on defense that's available left on the board? For me, it's Peyton Wilson. He is pretty versatile. Like he can come off the edge. He can rush the passer a little bit. I mean, you would play him as a stand-up linebacker, but I don't know. Patriots fans might be mad at me for that, but um, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know that their linebacking core is all that. It's not as good as I think other linebacking cores maybe are, unless you're counting Matthew Judon in that mix.
No,
But I
if you're
don't.
just if you're the Patriots, you're just stacking really, really good football players, throughout the draft. And that's kind of exactly on brand. I think what Jared Mayo is going to build that culture as 45, the Saints. You could do a couple things here. I'm thinking, I mean, part of me thought about Michael Penix, but the contract of Derek Carr is too tough to move and too tough to uh, really like bench or cut or anything like that with all the dead cap. And I think the roster is actually in pretty good shape. So where you kind of don't really, you're kind of looking for pieces that can help you and kind of contribute now and do some good things for you. Um, to me, would have loved interior, but obviously a couple guys going before you, pretty tough. I'm gonna stick here with Tyler Nubin at 45 to play safety for you. You got a little bit of hole there Jordan Howden, a guy I really like, also actually former teammates of Tyler Nubin. Those two can compete it out um, for your free safety position. And also, I do think Tyrann Mathieu is getting up in age. Move him to slot corner, do some things with him. And obviously maybe slide over Howden back to his strong safety, which he played in college. But Tyler Nubin there, I mean, probably first or second safety off the board in this draft class. To get him at 45 is pretty good value for the Saints.
I agree with you 100%. That is really good value. He's a guy that we talked about like, oh, is he a first round pick? Could he be a first round pick? Maybe, maybe. I'm gonna pick here with the Colts, a guy who you don't think about as having like an insane athletic profile, but he does have a really high RAS, like an RAS score, and he's got pretty good film. Colts need DBs. We're gonna take Andrew Phillips here. Put him on the
Wow.
Colts. I think that's a really solid fit right there.
Hmm.
He had a good athlete, good, pretty good film. You know, sure, I'm sure Colts fans are licking their chops thinking about Quinyon Mitchell in the first round, but as we had mocked, I would I would take Roma Dunze and Andrew Phillips just as much as I would take Quinyon Mitchell and uh whatever receiver you'd be taking here, which would probably be Xavier Legette. Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. Um, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Number 47 here, the Giants on the board, and this is where Michael Penix is going off the board for me. I think this is a team in a situation where it could make some sense. Um, I think Penix could come in and honestly compete right with Daniel Jones. And listen, like you did your thing with Malik Neighbors. We had him going here at 6 to the Giants. That could be a fun duo, Michael Penix and Neighbors. That deep arm, that passing game, the beautiful deep ball that Penix throws could really be unlocked with Neighbors as well. But also with where the board falls, I don't know. I think this is, to me, I think this is enough of Michael Penix falling. This is where it goes.
I like it. I like it. The Jaguars at 48. I'm gonna be quick with this one. It's gonna be Ennis Rakestraw Jr. Um, in the first round, you had him taking Fuanga at that 17
Yep.
spot, offensive tackle. They need they need help in that secondary. It's gonna be Ennis Rakestraw from Missouri.
Yeah.
It's a good player.
Uh,
Really good film. Not an insane athlete, but very, very, very good film.
absolutely. Absolutely. The Bengals here at 49. This is to me where a running back goes. And I'm trying to talk myself out of Trey Benson because I
You
do
can't.
think I can't, but I do think that this scenario would be really, really nice for Jonathan Brooks with the way they run the football in between the tackles and the beefy tackles that they have. And you also have Zach Moss and Chase Brown to kind of get you through September and October and really let Jonathan Brooks vamp up. Yes, Trey Benson is my running back number one, and I like him to go first off the board, but with the way the Bengals first team to convince themselves to take a running back in this draft class, in this mock draft, Jonathan Brooks to me fits them so well and could be pretty awesome to pair with all the rest of the talent that's on that team.
Dude, I love that fit. That would be a Dynasty League players, fantasy. That is
Draft and
a
stash. Oh,
yeah. Well, he'd probably be in the first round if I had to guess
I guess
of
so.
a lot of. But
But my
yeah,
point is
well,
like you're not going to
but
get
yeah,
value in 2024 out of him. It's going to be 25 and beyond.
maybe he's progressing
I'm
well from what I hear.
still worried about his name.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing with the Eagles. Are you gonna walk in there with Devontae Parker as your wide receiver three and Paris Campbell? I don't know that you do. I don't know that you do. You got some really good options on the board. I'm gonna go Xavier Legette right here for the Eagles. Absolute burner. Finally found his way onto the field, and he was absolutely awesome. Look, he's a big boy. He's got enough experience. Nice athletic profile, dude. I just think he's really good, man. Like I would not be shocked to see him go like to the Chiefs or the Bills. Like I would not be shocked if some of those other wide receivers go way earlier, and those teams that need a wide receiver really bad aren't able to get one. I could see Xavier Legette going up, but the way the board falls here at 50, they were licking their chops. This is another one of those ones where you're like, Howie Roseman, how did he get Xavier Legette? Probably easily a top 40 player. How did he get him? How did he get him falling to 50?
Yeah. No, that's pretty. Yeah, that's again awesome. But early in the draft process, he was seen as a late first round guy. Ended up not being as tall as we thought he was, but regardless, still very, very good player. Love that for the Eagles. 51 here with Steelers. They took Olu Fashano, if you remember, in our first round to put him at left tackle. I mean, I'd think about guard here with Christian Haynes. I think that would be very, very fun to pair those two together. But I do think I think it's good enough there for now. This would be a team that you'd really consider taking Michael Penix if he was on the board. But again, this is a pretty good roster, and if you're gonna kind of roll with Wilson and Fields, let's just continue to get better and better. Um, I think Chris Jenkins goes off the board here, and you can kind of again get a really good run stuffer, a guy that's just going to be a nice piece interiorly, where you have an aging Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi. I don't know how long he's going to be there for, but a guy you can play on the inside and really free up T.J. Watt and Highsmith to do their thing.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. Chris Jenkins is really good, man. He's really good.
Just solid, very, very solid.
Yeah, he's kind of getting. He's not in our top 50, I guess, for this draft, but like he could be a top 50 player. He could
Yeah.
be taken earlier than I think a lot of people think. Moving on to the Rams. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of places you can go with this.
And the Rams took Graham Barton in the first round. I took
Yes,
Barton for him.
yes, yes. Uh, I think it's where Mike Sanders still goes.
Panicked. Yeah, that's a great pick. That's a really, really good pick.
Back-to-back Michigan players, very good. Probably going to play in the slot, in the box, wherever you need him. Physical, fast, good athlete. Uh, it's good in space. I like him a lot. Uh, I'm assuming that the Rams would probably try to play him in slot, but I just think he's a good versatile player, and you can get a lot of value out of him.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Um, and I'm actually going to continue the trend on Michigan players. You saw I mean, their team was just absolutely loaded this year. They're going to have 15, 8, they could have 18 guys drafted. It could be a record-breaking year for them, deservingly so. I'm going to go Roman Wilson here, and I think he fits pretty darn well with Smith and A.J. Brown. And also, what I love about him is he can run block. You saw it all year, all damn year when they kept running the ball down people's throats, and Roman Wilson very, very willing blocker, which you love to see. Obviously, you signing Saquon, you have Jalen Hurts, you're committed to running the football as well, and he's a guy that can help you do that. But also, again, not to diminish his hands. I think he was a little underutilized at Michigan in the stacked wide receiver class, and in a team that didn't really utilize him the best. I could see him as someone that can really outgrow his draft stock in terms of how he is actually as an NFL pro.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. He is really good, man. He is really good. Dude, all these Michigan players are really good. We just don't classify them as first round draft picks. You know?
They're just good players.
Like I would classify all these players as better players, maybe than possibly better players than JJ McCarthy. Just, value at the quarterback position is kind of nuts.
And the
Value at the
upside
quarterback
there,
position.
yeah.
I said the Browns at 54, their first pick of the day for us. Welcome, Browns fans. If you scrolled all your way, if you scrolled all your way to get to us at 54, just to see what we would take. It's interesting though, because this roster's kind of nuts.
So
It's
good.
kind of nuts. Like what are
Even
your
battling
holes?
so many injuries last year, they were so
Yeah.
good.
Like what is your hole? Like maybe linebacker, but not even. I mean, this is a good roster. This is a good roster. Now, is this is this where you get greedy? You know, they say running back's a luxury. Nick Chubb coming off the injury. Is this a spot where you can take Trey Benson? Are Browns fans gonna be pissed? I'm gonna do it. Give me Trey Benson to the Browns.
Wow. But hey, it just helped Nick Chubb stay fresh.
Yeah,
And
we don't
that,
know
that
what his
injury
injury
was
is gonna look like.
gruesome. Oh, I mean, if there's anyone to come back from it, it's Chubb. But that's
Yeah.
so.
So I don't know anything about his rehab. I'm sure Browns fans, if you guys want to let me know in the comments why I'm an idiot for taking Trey Benson at 54. I'm sorry that you had to scroll all this way just to see that pick. uh, but yeah, there you go. Oh, dude, I have a really good pick for you for the Dolphins at 55, but you do your thing. I'll let you do
Okay, I want to do Jatavion Sanders really, really badly.
it.
And is that what you were thinking? And
That's what
I
I was
think
thinking.
I don't think I'm going to. I mean, remember you took Bo Nix in that first round, and you lost Robert Hunt to guard. You have Isaiah Wynn. You have Robert Jones. I don't know if those are really like studs there for you in the interior. A guy that fits the scheme super well is Christian Haynes. Can really get out and move from Connecticut. UConn zone blocker fits exactly what Mostert and Achane can do, where you can get out the outside. Obviously, turn that corner, that zone blocking scheme. So Haynes as 55 to the Dolphins.
I like it. I like it. At 56, we got the Cowboys. Took Zach Frazier in the first round. Uh, yeah, a little bit shocking there. A little bit shocking. Will that probably happen? Probably not. But we're having fun here. We're
Well, I
having
think I
fun.
think they're a team that was hoping that Trey Benson or Jonathan Brooks would follow them at 56.
Well, see, that's the
You know,
thing. Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson off the board. There's two trains of thought. It's like, do you get a running back here? Because I think they're going to have to end up taking two running backs at some point in this draft class. There's a tier of guys where it's like, are all these other running backs going to be gone by the next time that they pick? I think they got to take a running back here at 56, and I think it's going to be Marshawn Lloyd. Is that crazy?
wow. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What's that?
What's Marshawn Lloyd? Well, look, for some reason, dude, when I watched him play at South Carolina, when I hear draft scout analysts, they're like, oh, he's not like, I've heard people say that he's not like an insanely powerful runner. Like he doesn't finish runs. And to me, that's crazy because when I watch him play, I'm like, this guy finishes runs, man. This
Hmm.
guy finishes runs. He's got that long speed too, some good burst. I think vintage vision has a little bit to be desired there. Uh, but I think he's really good, man. I think he's really, really good. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a really good fit. I'd have to look into it more, but I'll take Marshawn Lloyd here. I'll take Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, no, I like that, and he kind of fits. I think the Cowboys want to do. Um, to me, I'm right now after those first two guys are off the board. I'm almost at a spot where it's like, give me Kavani Madal in the fourth round or fifth round versus and whoever else in the second round. And the Bucks again, a team that could absolutely use a running back, Blake Corum, Marshawn Lloyd if he was there, Jalen Wright. I love Bucky Irving, but I don't know if he's a little too similar to Rashad White when you have there. But yeah, I think you wait and you get Kamani Vidal, one of those big, or Braylon Allen, maybe the third, fourth round, whatever it might be.
Amani Vidal.
Kamani Vidal. So the Bucks here at 57, and what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of a reach, maybe. But I do think that this is a little bit more of a need than you might think it is, and that's wide receiver. And I'm gonna take, let me just make sure I'm not passing up on anybody on my board. Like really. Yeah. Okay, good. Javon Baker at 57.
I love that.
UCF. I mean I've been high on him since he was a true freshman or really 18 years old, enrolled early at Alabama. He is very, very fun, right? He is a guy that just crazy hands, catches everything, uber athlete. Obviously the production finally came in year three or I think year four at in college there with UCF, and he kind of played taking advantage of his high draft stock, and I think he would fit so nicely there with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Trey Palmer, and take advantage of what Baker Mayfield could do best.
Yeah, I that's awesome. I really like that pick, dude. Javon Baker's good. I think you could have also gone Tez Walker too.
Yeah.
Jermaine Burton's not bad, but I do think Javon Baker is a stud. He is
I,
so
I
good.
I almost think that like with Burton and Baker, to me they're pretty similar. When I watch them, I feel like they're similar in terms of like how I can see them producing in the NFL. But I think Baker's a little bit less off the field question marks than Burton does, and I think that's kind of where I'm just like, you know what, let's take Baker and also have that same upside that Burton does.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I want to reach for a player so bad, but it would be like such a gigantic reach.
It's gonna be
I think the Packers can wait on safety. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
who would it have been? Who are you thinking about?
I
Sione
don't think.
Vaki, Cole Bishop?
No, I was thinking about Cole Bishop, but no, I'm gonna wait on safety. You know how much I love Cole Bishop. I think they can get
Mhm.
one later for sure. I mean Cam Kinchins. I mean there's guys available later. Right. I mean there's also other good ones here. Jaden Hicks is on the board still for us. Javon Bullard. Uh, Kamari Lassiter, you could throw at safety. I mean, I've heard that.
Yeah.
That kind of thought process. Not that I don't think I would do that personally, but I don't know if I would draft
Yeah.
Kamari Lassiter personally. But gosh, this is tough, man. Because we took a center, Jackson Powers Johnson, or guard, I guess, Jackson Powers Johnson. You also took a linebacker, with Edgerrin Cooper. It's what do you want here, man? Do you take darts at more guards? Do you take darts at more linebackers? You know, we saw him take two darts at tight end because that was a need for them. We saw him take several darts at wide receiver over the course of 2 years, and that worked out for them. They just keep throwing darts, or did they just get a guy with? I think they got. I think they got some solid guys in the defensive interior, but I am going to draft Braden Fisk for them, and here's why. I'm not in love with Braden Fisk, but I do think his get off is pretty okay, and he's fast. Um, could be a guy that you bring in some third down packages. Just kind of like a rotational player, just another piece to have on that defensive front. Not that he's going to be dominating in the run game because he won't. Uh, he might even get moved around. Like that might be a guy that you explicitly do not put in on first and second down. But those third and long situations, you know, we've seen guys like this go in the third, early fourth round. Uh, Come to think of like Zach Pickens, um, guys like that. So I'll go with
Yeah.
Braden Fisk, and I'm just not gonna say I'm not gonna say I love it, but I'm just gonna go with that because that's what I was feeling.
I think it's really interesting because I think like he kind of fits that room nicely in terms of just a different body than what they do have there, and you can
Yep.
get with what you can do there with Van Ness and Rashawn Gary and Quay Walker and all these like different
Kenny
bodies with
Clark,
just good athletes, Kenny Clark, Devontae White, like guys that can just do so like you can get really creative and cause nightmares for O linemen to try to pick up blitzes and stunts, which you can do. At 59 here, the Texans, they've had a nice second round. Um, you took Rook Aurora Horror, and obviously they've done a ton defensively as well to beef up that line, that thing. And obviously you traded for Stephon Diggs. You signed Joe Milton. I'm gonna beef up your O line and protect the gem CJ Stroud, and let's go Cooper Beebe. And I think him and Kenyon Green
Wow.
as a duo like moving forward is just a dream with the two powerful guys. Um, and obviously a guy kind of staying local in that uh, Texas, Kansas region, all that Big 12 country, I guess.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I didn't even think about that for the Texans in that spot. That's a great pick. I like that a lot. All right, the Bills here picking at 60. Uh, before we had him taking Brian Thomas, you had him trading up. So now we're sitting here. You could take another wide receiver. There's no one stopping you from taking two.
Not at all.
Like really, like actually, it's not a crazy thing to do. Um, could also go in the secondary here. I think that's what I think that's what I might do. I'm gonna go TJ Tampa right here.
Yeah, I think this is probably about where he goes off.
Yeah, TJ Tampa, corner from Iowa State. Um, about 6'2", 200 pounds, senior, very productive. Um, nice nice fluid hips. I don't think he tested insanely well as some of those other guys, and maybe why he's not going in the first round because some of those other guys have better testing numbers. But um, certainly good, certainly pretty good. I would classify him as more of a I guess a zone corner. That's what the Tampa 2 corner. No pun intended. But then again, yeah, I'm reading right here. He ranked in the 98th percentile for forced incompletion rate on passes thrown his way in college. That's pretty good. Although, moral of the story would be like, just don't get the ball thrown at you, you know. But when you do, forcing completions.
Yeah, I
I
like
don't
that.
have
I'm
great.
actually
Yeah, I don't have other. I don't have any other great analysis on that other than they need DBs. TJ Tampa is probably the best one on the board. Beat him, TJ
that
Tampa.
makes sense. Makes a ton of sense. The Lions here at 61. Remember they traded up a couple spots to go and get JC Latham, and a player that they've been linked to a lot in the first round is Kool-Aid McKinstry. And the reason why I felt comfortable, moving up for JC Latham is because I thought that Latham's a talent that you can't really find elsewhere, but like Kool-Aid McKinstry, you can find similar different pieces to him down the board, maybe with a guy like Kamari Lassiter, who's also not the uber
Mm,
long speed guy.
no,
But I
not at
think that
all.
I think that the dog mentality, what do they call it with nail bite or fucking A. I don't know what it's 2 a.m. right now. I can't think about it, but the Lions have that like just I don't know.
Bag of nails,
He
a
just
bowl of nails.
whatever it is, it's Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's gonna fall in love with Kamar Lassiter and say, I have to walk away with him in my room. And that's a position of need for sure. And obviously, you can kind of figure it out from there. But Lassiter, people knock him for his speed for sure, but I just think his physicality, his technique is just so good. And he's just so smart, savvy that you just love that for the Lions there.
Doesn't matter. If you got one ass cheek and three toes, I will beat your ass. Yeah, I think they like that there. Also, too, like if it doesn't work out, just move him to safety. Like just see if that works. See if that
Yeah.
works. You don't need like sure you ran. Did you run like a 4.6, 4.7? I
Yeah, it
don't have
was
the
not
numbers in
good.
front of me. It's not good. It's not good, but you could get away with it at safety at times. You can get away with it.
Yeah, it's like
Over
I mean,
here,
Tyler Newbin ran a 4.6.
yeah, yeah. All right, we're looking here. The Baltimore Ravens at 62. In the first round, we had them taking Jordan Morgan, the tackle. Uh, is this a luxury pick? Is this a wide receiver? Like, uh, kind of hard to say, I guess. there's not a ton of holes in this roster, you know, so makes it kind of difficult to decipher what you want to pick for these guys. If they have too many holes, it makes it hard, and if they don't have any holes, it makes it a little tough. I want to go. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, how much? Yeah, you just paid Matabike. Dude, this roster is so good, man. If Mike Sainristil was here, I would definitely have Mike Sainristil in this spot for sure. Um, Here's what I'm gonna do. This one's gonna sound like a bit of a reach, but I'm gonna go Kalen Carson in this spot, corner from Wake Forest. I think the Ravens could use some help in the secondary a little bit, given their injuries from last year. I think Kalen Carson's a pretty dang good player, man. He had some really, really, really good film last year. If you
Mhm.
watch, he's played 2,000 snaps at Wake Forest over 4 years. Kind of absolutely bonkers. And he's just super physical, man. He's so physical, man. He just gets up in there. Uh, he's shedding blocks. He's making tackles. He's jamming receivers. I think he's really, really, really good when he's playing downhill. So I like I'll take Kalen Carson here at 62 for the Ravens.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I think he's a guy that you're gonna see him go day two, and you're gonna be like, who's this guy? And then they're gonna show highlights of him, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay,
like
all
look at
right
that
now.
could blow up that wide receiver.
Yeah. And so yeah, Carson's a damn good player. At 63 for the 49ers, I remember he took Nate Wiggins early on. Sticking on the defensive side here, I know you think about wide receiver. I don't really see a Brandon Ayuk replacement at this point because you might have to move off of him. Obviously, George Kittle, McCaffrey, staples of your offense. I don't know if I love the tackles here. I mean, you could think about the guy from Yale, Patrick Paul as well. But I think you can just kind of, I don't love the value here, but I'm gonna go edge and I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here above a guy like Adisa Isaac, above Jonah Ellis, above Chris Braswell, and I'm gonna take Austin Booker as a guy that just
Whoa.
toolsy as all hell. And I think the 49ers are really gonna enjoy having him and getting to mold him and kind of turn him loose eventually and bring him in on specific pass rushing downs, and then eventually work him way into being a legit three down edge player for you. Opposite Nick Bosa, by the way, who would be just very tough to block both those guys when they're screaming off the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, that's a really good pick. I like that a lot. As for the last pick in our 2 round mock draft, the Chiefs over at 64. I think I'm gonna stick in your realm of edge rusher. Oh, do I want to do that? No. Yeah. Kind of tough right here. Oh, this. I don't know if this is a reach, but I'll go. I'll take a corner right here. You lose L'Jarius Sneed
Yeah.
um to the Titan. He's on Titans, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Kyrie Jackson right here out of Oregon.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
kind of nuts, insanely physically talented. 6'3", big guy. Uh, Loose in the hips, which you love to see. But I'm just I'm a fan of that. I think I like that. I was thinking about going edge rusher, Chris Braswell right there, but I'm all right with taking a guy like Kyrie Jackson. The Chiefs, I mean, they have the luxury of taking shots on really athletic guys.
Yeah. And that's because eventually once you don't want to pay the guys that you're hitting on, then you could just plug them right in. And obviously, that's really nice. And that's a nice luxury. This is awesome. This is a really nice mock draft we did here. Kind of crazy early on, but also like really fun to get into day two. And again, like I feel like we say this after every first round, one round mock draft. We're like, oh, we missed on these guys. How do we not fit these guys in the first round? And here we are with Jatavion Sanders, right? Still on the board. Adisa Isaac, Javon Bullard, guys that are pretty high up on consensus boards. Troy Franklin, although I think he's a third rounder um, as well. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun to do these things and see where our heads at. But yeah, what about you? Any thoughts, takeaways?
Takeaways, if this was the actual draft, right, and it was following our best bets, uh, I think we would have made out pretty well because we would have cashed Amarius Mims as the third offensive tackle off the board. I would not have cashed Byron Murray top 10. I would have cashed Indianapolis Colts to take wide receiver. You would not have cashed Chop Robinson over 26.5. We would have both cashed AD Mitchell under 27.5. We would have both cashed Amarius Mims under 22.5. And you would not have cashed your Trey Benson, although that was your own doing. You
But I
would not have
did,
cashed.
yeah, which is a shame. But hey, sometimes it is what it is. The board falls how the board falls. This is tough. I cannot wait to get going, see what they do Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, if you're still around, sticking to the end, you are the best. Make sure you have that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Share the video. Send it to your friends or your maybe fans of different fan bases that you're like, oh, look, the Rams got goddamn Graham Barton. Lucky you guys. And whatever it might be, obviously let us know in the comments what you think as well, what we did for your team, who we left off, yada yada yada. We love hearing from you.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys in the next one.